here at Buffalo Wild Wings, one of the finest establishments in Modesto, California, with our featured matchup participants today, or this week.
Sorry. What do you mean you can't see anything?
I don't know, my eyes haven't adjusted to the
All right, everyone. Before we get back to that riveting interview, I wanted to just highlight a couple of things. Last week was a really high-scoring week. I led the league in points last week, along with Tom Schroeder, had a big showing, Jameson Jones, Avery Estrada, really solid weeks last week. Remember, there's a $50 bounty to the team with the highest individual week point total. Tom thought he had that, but then Randall Cobb slobbed on Cobb, and he went off. So 168 is the mark right now for that bounty for the season. Wanted to highlight a couple of matchups this week. I also wanted to say we have no 0-3 and no 3-0 team. So everyone is either 1-2 or 2-1, which means there's one game separating everyone, which is kind of cool. Shows how good I am at fantasy football and choosing good people for the league. So other matchups this week besides our featured matchup, myself versus Tom Schroeder. So the two highest point totals from last week facing off this week. Brent drafted this team, faces off against Jameson Jones and the Tijuana Fish Tacos. We also have Nate Langley against Morris Tomachoff. You're noticing a lot of these matchups don't really mean anything except for the featured matchup so far. Joseph Waltz, who has now changed his team name to 19/female/Sacramento/T4T, which means trade for trade on pictures, nudes only. Really like the name change, Joey. I'm going to have to give you a win this week just because of that over Jacob Allen. And in the last matchup this week, we have Matt Ernst against Avery Estrada. Avery is already leading 36-0 in that matchup. He had Le'Veon Bell and Justin Forsett in the Thursday night game. So good luck to you, Matt Ernst. All right. Without further ado, let's get to this interview.
This is our life.
So I'm here with our featured matchup of the week. Longtime acquaintances, Joe G and Vic P. Vic walks around with his initials on all the time, just so everyone knows what his name is. It's kind of weird. Jacket and shirt both have your initials on it. But I want to start off with a good surface question for you guys. How do you feel about them discovering Mars, the water on Mars? What do you think about that?
I don't care. I just want to know when they discover life.
Life.
And I guess water, some people say, is life. But
Well, you said it was life, and we told you it wasn't.
I asked you, does that mean there's life on Mars? But then the more I thought about it, like, technically water it's like kind of like a plant.
No, you said water is alive.
And it's not like plants.
Yeah, because plants are alive.
Yeah.
So Joe, is water alive?
I would argue it is, because it depends on what your definition of life is. There's hydrogen and oxygen make water. I believe anything that thrives off of oxygen is alive. It's life.
I believe the definition of life is a being that is sentient, meaning you can,
So you don't think plants are alive?
Yeah, plants are sentient. They can make conscious decisions.
Plants can make conscious decisions?
Like they have a conscience?
They can decide to,
Like between good and evil conscience?
Not moral conscience.
Oh.
No.
That's a human quality, Joe. Do you know what a human is?
Yep. Well, I would... What are we filming a taxi cab porn? Look, there's even a little thing for your neck so you can get all relaxed while you're sucking my dick.
Think about it. I mean, there's so many things that could be fake, like bald eagles, for example. Have you ever actually seen a bald eagle? I mean, it could be just a character that United States of America created to symbolize freedom, but
propaganda.
Yeah, I've never seen a bald eagle or a bear or
Vic, I don't understand.
Can I answer the Mars question before we delve into the future questions?
Yeah, sure.
I think the whole water on Mars thing is a scam. 'Cause think about it. I don't even think Mars is a real planet. I mean, have you ever seen it with your own eyes? What if it's just a thing they taught us in school, made us believe there's other planets? I mean, because they knew that we'd have no way to verify this data. So
Is that why you changed your team name to a team from Quebec? Because I don't think you're from Quebec. I mean, you don't look Canadian. You don't look French.
my team name is the ROGO, and it sounds like it's a French-Canadian name. So I picked the most French-Canadian city possible. And that ended up being Quebec, and they don't have a pro sports team anymore, so it was fitting. But speaking of ROGOators and phonetically saying that correctly, why is your nickname ROGO? Your name is not Robert, it's Robert. So shouldn't your nickname be ROGO? I mean, if you really think about it, like if you take the first two sounds of your first name and your last name, it's ROGO, not ROGO, unless you want to be called Robert from now on, which I don't think you do. So can you answer me that?
So have there ever been any issues or fights between the two of you?
Oh, yeah, there's been some drama, but
Joe, can you tell me about one of the fights you and Victor had?
I can't even.
Most of them were just drunken banter when we lived with Trevor Kelly,
Yeah.
who's no longer a member of this league.
Yeah.
That's really the only time we've had fights was that year.
Yeah.
Nothing serious, nothing that ever lasted like more than a day. So.
Oh, and then that one time where I really pissed you off and was like talking shit, and then you started talking shit, and then you made out with my ex-girlfriend.
Oh, I was just about to ask you if you guys have ever shared a woman, if you're Eskimo brothers.
Well, that's not why I made out with her. I don't think that had anything to do with it.
You had a spite makeout?
Oh, you just did it to be an asshole?
Well, you know how she's like a makeout whore.
She was a makeout whore. No.
Jameson made out with her too, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, he did.
Jameson's made out with at least everyone.
Yep. So then I go into a closet and try to fall asleep. I brought a bag of cookies in there with me.
Closet.
We want it to indirectly get him out of the closet. So we create a small fire in my apartment and try to smoke him out of the closet.
And proceeded to blow these duck whistles
We had duck
because
whistles for the national championship game. That was the
Oregon
month before.
got beat by Scam Newton and the Auburn Tigers, literally
Hook 'em horns.
a
month before that. Yep. So then I get pissed. I come out. I'm like, leave me alone. I want to sleep. And then Trevor is like, hey guys, hey, before you want to fucking fight me or what? And then we started fighting and we started wrestling around, and then we started like really wrestling for real.
And this is Trevor right here, and Joe just falls backward onto my couch.
I
Really
jumped.
nice couch.
I jump like this.
And
try to
Trevor
WWE
lands,
style.
I literally try to break his
and
back.
all I hear is this loud crack. And I thought Trevor was paralyzed. But luckily it wasn't Trevor's back, it was my couch that broke.
Oh, luckily.
And I try to get leverage by pushing my foot up against the wall, and you hear and it was my knee literally popped out of place. Like my knee was on the side,
Literally on the side of his knee right
of my
here.
leg, and Trevor automatically lets
He's
go.
yelling so loud, like
I was screaming.
Shit.
You know, usually when me and Victor do go head to head in a competition, I win.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good one.
Do you know what his trophy is, Robert?
It's probably a big black dildo.
Close.
I don't know. I think an 8-team league would be stacked.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised you're not doing that. I'm surprised you don't do an 8-team league with 8 teams making the playoffs.
I mean, that's a really good idea. I'll put it in the suggestion box. Who do you think is the worst player in our fantasy football league? Like before, it was Jake Lynn because he was Asian. But I mean, we ridded ourselves of Trevor Kelly and Jake Lynn, and so who do you think is the worst player in our fantasy football league?
I'm gonna say
Who has the worst team, or who is the worst?
Who's the
manager?
worst person?
the guy who tried to draft Amir Abdullah in the first.
Oh yeah,
the first pick.
Fuck.
You know,
that
they're
guy.
2-0, or they're 2-1.
Yeah, they beat me.
Yeah.
Here is a
So-
true stat, though. Honestly, in your league, Robert, also your league, Victor, I've never missed the playoffs. I've been in the playoffs every single year. You can look at it. I've never once missed the playoffs.
Have you
I've
ever
always made
won
the
in
money.
my league, Joe?
No, because
What was the closest you got?
Don't fucking bring it up. You brought it up in the last video.
Yeah, I guess some
Okay.
new material, man.
God, I think I'm gonna probably beat Victor. He's not that scary.
I don't know who's gonna win. And actually, if I really had to think about it, I would say ESPN's going to give me the win because I think the whole thing is rigged. They're fairly certain the whole thing is rigged. I mean, have you actually ever seen a football game with your own eyes? How do we know it's even a real thing?
I have the Cardinals defense, so I'm going to get a Pat Tillman jersey.
Isn't he not alive?
Yeah.
Dear God, thank God that thing is over. Anyways, there's one funny last snippet that I'll show you at the end of our video today. Have a good weekend. By the way, this is the best Sunday of the year tomorrow. It is actually the best day of the year because there is 14 hours of straight football on, and in memory of the 14-hour football day, I have purchased over 140 beers. You are all more than welcome to watch football at my house tomorrow. There is a 10-beer minimum. That means you must drink at least 10 beers. I will see you tomorrow.
I was screaming hella loud. And then Victor, all of a sudden, he's pissed drunk. I don't know, and he's not a doctor.
And I'm just there watching this whole thing. Me and Robert are just...
He's just
Wait,
sitting
Vic
there.
is not a doctor?
No.
Contrary to popular belief. Me and Robert are just filming this whole fight when this happens.
Oh, yeah, that's on film.
Yeah, we
Robert
have a
still
video
has
somewhere,
it.
Yeah.
So you hear the loud snap. I'm screaming on the ground, like, help me, you gotta call 911, take me to a hospital or whatever. And I'm fucking, oh man, I was like dying. I didn't know what to do. Victor, I've never even seen him help anybody in any capacity. But he doesn't know anything about the, like, how to...
About a body.
About a body. Like, if I had a cut, he'd be like, I don't know, put some water on it or something.
Because water is alive.
Yeah, it is. And so he comes over, he literally nonchalantly comes over and goes to my knee and just goes, and pops it perfectly back into place. And it like felt better, and then they put ice on my knee, and it was great. Then it's like 4:30 in the morning, and we hear an ambulance come into the apartment complex. And Victor's like, oh my God, I can't believe I fixed his knee. Like, everyone's like, holy shit, how did you do that? And Victor's walking around since he's pissed drunk. He thinks he's basically God now, which he's calling himself that. And so he's walking around, and then we hear an ambulance. So we go outside, and there's like this old guy getting wheeled out on a gurney outside, and we're asking, like, what happened, and someone's like, oh, he had a heart attack or whatever, and he's literally getting wheeled into the ambulance with all their family around, and Victor comes out and goes, let me touch his heart. Let me touch his heart. I can fix him. Let me just touch his heart. And that's how the night ended.
And I did, and
it healed him.
And then we found out he lived.